Hey, what's up? Hello, guys. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Tiffany and I do movie reactions here on YouTube. But if you're not new here, welcome back, cinephiles. Now, you will notice that this outfit is not what I had in my thumbnail, and that is because today is July 27th, and this video is supposed to go up August 2nd, and I pre-filmed this video back in May, but I went to go edit that footage last night, and it was dang near unusable. If you don't want to hear about why I'm redoing it, then go ahead and jump to this timestamp. But if you do want to know, I filmed this pre-surgery, and so I was just in a lot of pain, and it was really close to my surgery date, so the pain was just getting worse because I had to actually go off of my insulin injections. I had to go off of pain medications that I was using to help that. So I was basically on nothing and had to just kind of live with it for a while. And that was the hardest thing I've done in a bit. However, I still tried to film and it wasn't anything. There was a moment where I was trying to say something that would have typically taken me 10 to 20 seconds to say, and it was taking me over 2 minutes to say. It was just spread out because I kept having pain flares. So, after I edited down maybe 30 minutes of footage of just the movie footage, I had maybe 4 minutes of usable content, and so I said, "You know what? This isn't worth it. We're gonna go ahead, we're just gonna refilm it and call it a day." And besides, like I said, it's been maybe 2 months since I've seen the film, so and I've seen it before this, but yeah, so we're just gonna redo it and see where it goes. But if you haven't checked out the title already, we are going to be jumping into Friday the 13th Part 3. Now, upon my first watch of the series, this was actually my favorite the very first time I watched the series. The second time I watched the series, it actually became Part 6, and we'll see what it is now because I don't watch this series as much as I watch like Freddy Krueger, Michael Myers, or Ghostface. So this is one that I actually didn't watch for the first time until I was 19, I believe. I had seen number 7 and number 1, but other than that, I hadn't seen any of the others. And so I had sat down and watched them all and found a liking for them. Most of them are pretty good. There's a couple of duds here and there, but I think it's the same way with any series. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into Friday the 13th, part previously on Friday the 13th. I do think it's both good and bad that they start every Friday the 13th film that I can remember with a recap of the previous film, even though these are released within a year of each other. You know, things smell like mothballs and death and just nastiness, mold.
Mommy has a reward.
I mean, they touch on this more in the reboot as well, because Whitney's character looks like Pamela, so therefore he sees her as a maternal figure as well. She doesn't do it as good as Jenny does, but they do touch on that in that film. Which, if you haven't seen my reaction to that film, it was the first Friday the 13th film I had done. Probably not my best video because I was still in my first year, but I'll go ahead and link it up above if you'd like to check it out. That did go in pretty far. I was gonna say, I thought it was kind of funny that she thought she could take him out with a shoulder stab and not like in the heart or the head or something, but the thing went in pretty deep.
That's what she said.
And how did he get that out of his back? Out of his shoulder? The way he pulled it, it made it seem like he like reached behind and pulled it out, but it would have been better if had he done like this or this. Logistics. Now, this was the first Friday the 13th to latch on to that 3D gimmick that had just started coming out. And I watched Crystal Lake Memories, which is the 13-hour documentary about the series, where the cast said it was absolute hell trying to film all this because they kept missing the marks and everything. I can't even imagine. Oh, isn't this cozy? A little general store. This looks like one of those places that you would see, like, when you go to the beach, and it's off to the side, and it's got, like, where you can buy T-shirts, and get you a snack, a drink, we'll stop in and, see the locals.
God damn it, Harold! I spent all day yesterday washing your clothes to them. You know I work very hard around here trying to keep up with you and
He looked at the camera because didn't know where the 3D lens was. But also, they didn't even hit the ground. They didn't even fly away or anything, and he put it right back up.
Field miraculously survived repeated attacks by the axe-wielding killer, suffering from multiple stab wounds and severe hysterical shock.
I wonder if she got stabbed after the movie ended before she was found, because we only saw her get slashed once, if I'm recalling correctly. And it was just the leg wound when Jason saw that it was actually his mother's head and she wasn't his mother.
Harold?
She looks young, like there's gotta be a significant age gap between herself and her husband. But she didn't even finish getting everything. Now, granted, if I was having to get stuff off of a clothesline and I heard somebody and saw somebody that I didn't know in my billowing bedclothes, I'd be out of there too.
Look behind you. Turn around.
Sir, that's just unsanitary. Like, you sell that stuff. And I know I saw one of them peanuts fall out of your mouth and go right back in there, and now you drinking the juice. Okay. You know what? I'll hit a Circle K. That is an adorable bunny, though. And he's gonna leave the bunny in there with the snake. Who keeps food storage in the bathroom? I've never seen a house with food storage in the bathroom. Now, towels, linen, stuff like that, sure. But never food. Take a breath, Edna. You good? Think you would have preferred the rat over that, sweetie. Or is that a mouse? I never could realize the difference. Oh, I love the little embroidery around her door.
Hey, Shelly, come on out and meet your date.
Bring her to me. In the country be without sex.
Cool it, Andy.
Be a weekend in the country.
Ah! God damn it, Shirley. Why do you always have to be such an asshole? I beg your pardon. I'm not an asshole. I'm an actor. Same thing. Max, be yourself.
Would you be yourself if you look like this?
He doesn't look bad. But self-image.
Which one's my date?
Hi.
Take the mask off, Shelley.
How much further to the lake?
We would have been there already if some people didn't have to go to the bathroom every 5 minutes.
What happens when you're pregnant?
It's the cops.
Oh my God.
What?
They're catching us hard.
Go to jail!
I'm driving.
No way! We're pregnant, remember?
In case you forgot. Now, they could have easily started slowing down and starting to pull over, and I'm sure the cops probably would have gone around them. But then again, when you're in one of those situations, and I've never been in those situations, who knows what you're thinking.
Hey, watch.
Girl, you better put your head back in the window or you're gonna wreck. Well, take care of it before Jason has the chance, too.
What? Stop! Is it?
How'd you not see that?
His grace is brought unto me. I found this today. There were other parts of the body.
That's an eyeball!
Call the police.
He came. I have warned thee.
I prefer my harbingers in the form of Crazy Ralph, thank you. Y'all got some nails? Surely them things need to be nailed down. I don't think they'd last long if they weren't.
Hello?
Nah. If I ain't expecting you to do that, I have no flight responses. I am purely landing on fight.
Even the paintings are still crooked.
Well, you've certainly changed. Say hello anymore?
I'm sorry.
Did you expect her to say hello when you grabbed her by the neck and pushed her against the wall?
There's a whole weekend ahead of us. Let me get to know you again. Let me get to know this place again.
There's only so many cold showers I can take.
Child. Anyway, so.
I think you've gained some weight since last summer.
Wasn't this store closed a few minutes ago?
What did you say?
Nothing.
That's PTSD for you. Because even though you came with like 6 other people, you don't think about the fact that they could have opened the van.
Why aren't you down at the lake with everybody else?
Oh, they said they were going skinny dipping, and I'm not skinny enough.
You know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of Pitch Perfect. Benji, I think his name was. I'll put a picture of him up here. But that's who he reminds me of. The confidence that he severely lacks.
Hammock? You might like it.
Wouldn't it be dangerous to put a pregnant girl and her boyfriend in a hammock?
Then I gave up an opportunity to spend the weekend with Mary Jo Conrad for this. And now's the time, and now's the place, if you know what I mean.
You being pushy. It feels very low stakes. There's not a lot of urgency. Oh, that's pretty.
Don't touch him, Andy.
Don't move him.
Creep. Oh, my.
Get up.
I gotta get out of here. I'm going to the store. Can I use your car?
Oh, sure.
I don't know you like that. No. Shelly, really, there's a time and a place for all that. And especially when you know your friends already don't like it, don't do it.
The minute we got here, I've been seeing things and hearing things. It's probably just my imagination.
PTSD will do that to you.
Hey, how are things with Rick going?
Okay. But he just doesn't understand.
Does he know what happened?
We don't accept no food stamps. May I please have the wallet, ma'am?
May I please have the wallet, ma'am?
Ooh, Vera want to deck her.
Hey, that was a 20.
You could have stayed for the change. Turn the car on, Shelly. You literally could have just backed up a little bit and gone around them.
He went too far this time.
Yeah, Rick's car is pretty much dead. Well, the windows at the very least.
I did it! Did I do it? Yes, you did it! You were great!
That was great!
Now, I like to think that they could have found common ground and been a really cute couple.
Hey, what do you say we go get some exercise?
This is all the exercise I need.
Girl, you done had too much exercise. You're pregnant, remember?
Did you know that I can see you?
I wonder what happened to them.
What happened to your windshield?
It's not his windshield.
Shelley made him see the error of their ways, didn't you, Shell?
It was nothing.
You know, but it wasn't our fault.
Few minor repairs. It'll be good as new.
Who's gonna pay for the repairs, Shelley?
I've had it. I mean, I thought it would be a good idea for us.
The fact that they're being so nonchalant about ruining somebody's property is crazy.
Stay with me,
Why should I?
because I want you to.
Don't play fair, do you? Get in.
Brush the glass off the seat first. You can see the film crew in the window glare.
We can do whatever we want. Nobody will see.
Sounds disgusting.
I'll grab a couple of towels. I'll see you down there.
Were you not just laying on a towel? Oh, they got there pretty quick. Their bikes must have not been messed up bad.
Maybe we shouldn't do this, Ali.
Hey, we gotta even the score, don't we? Nobody's gonna get hurt.
Now, see, that's what you get for going around people's stuff. I love her look, though. Like the leather jacket, the leather pants, leather boots. But I've never been on a motorcycle. So please correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. Would you not get, like, extremely heated in, like, I think this is Jersey, summer heat? Or is it more because, like, you're moving outside of the vehicle, you get cold because of the wind?
Get off that thing!
Woo! This feels good.
I'm surprised nobody hears them. Or at least her.
Come on, we got shit to do.
Now, how do you not see that out your peripheral vision? Because I feel like I would have seen at least the leather. Jason just throws her down too. Like, here you go.
When I find you, you bastard, you're a dead man!
He's right there. Those windows are not completely dirty. Of course, you never know the perspective on the outside. You can be able to see out a window and not be able to see in a window.
What about us?
I'm here with you. Can't that be enough for now?
I don't know. I mean, I don't see you for months on end. And then when I do, you put this barrier up between us. How do I break through?
What do you mean by break through? Like, get to know her again, or get to know her?
Andy, I can think of much better things for you to be doing with your hands.
You win.
Andy folds so easily.
You really are very good at that.
It's not.
Ask her if she wants to learn.
I was thinking that maybe, we could...
I don't think so. Look, I'm gonna go outside for a few minutes. And then when I get back in, we'll talk. Okay?
How she's gotten to know you is you
We'll talk.
putting on a mask, faking a death,
Bitch.
and now calling her a cuss word because she didn't want to immediately be yours. You just gotta let time. You just gotta let it build. Shelly, y'all are there for the whole week, and this is only the first day, sweetie. Let her get to know the real you, not the jokester you. That's who people really want to know.
First we take our clothes off, and then you get on top of me, or I could get on top of you.
We know how to do it. I mean, how do we do it in the hammock?
Valid question.
The minute I walked in the door, my parents started yelling at me and cursing me. My mom slapped me. That was the first time my mother had ever hit me. I ran out the door and into the woods.
A lot of big emotions.
I turned around. And standing there was this hideous-looking man. I kicked the knife out of his hands and I ran. I don't know what happened after that. I just don't know.
Oh, maybe your dad found you and scared Jason off?
It's all right. You're all right.
I mean, we never really get any resolution to that.
My parents have never said a word about it. They act as if the whole thing never happened, but it did.
Well, they probably know about Jason and what happened at the camp and everything. And the legend of him still being alive. I've seen a lot of commentary stating that this flashback scene was indicative of Chris implying that she had been essayed by Jason, but it doesn't really coincide with what all else we know about Jason. And I'm not saying that it's not what the writer intended, but it's not shown if it's fully a yes or fully a no. It's left very ambiguous in these scenes. But, I mean, we really don't really see any gratification of that kind with Jason in these films. He's never like that.
Heavy shit.
Do you know how mad and, like, freaked out I'd be if I was in an outhouse and I started shaking it? I would run out of that outhouse screaming, pants still down to my ankles, probably peeing down my legs.
Another one of your tricks.
I don't even like porta potties. Like, just the fact that somebody could just come up is too much for me.
When you and Shelly, I'm lucky I haven't had a heart attack already.
What's Butterball up to now?
Ducked into the barn.
Come on, let's give him some of his own medicine.
How does one obtain the nickname Chili? There are some nicknames in movies and stuff that I never understand. Like Shelly's obviously from Sheldon. Andy from Andrew.
Come on, let's get out of here.
I'm not going to let anybody hurt you.
Gee, thanks.
Boy, put some shoes on. You can't be walking around here. You never know what you're gonna step on.
Lesson. A beautiful girl like you should never go out in the dark alone.
Shelly plays too dang much. I'd have pushed him back in the water.
Why do you do these stupid things?
I have to.
No, you don't have to.
I just want you to like me.
That isn't the way to do it!
I never said you were nothing.
You don't have to say it. I could tell.
Are you going off of what you see or what you think? Because what you think and what people do are two different things, Sheldon.
Chuck? Chili? Hey! What are you guys doing in there?
Jason is very centralized to this bar, and I feel like if they just didn't go in the barn, they might survive.
You guys doing something I shouldn't see?
Aww. I'm sure you could have gotten one of them twigs over there. leaned forward on the rock and tried to get it.
Your wallet. I'm sorry. I got it. Who are you?
I love how even she knew that wasn't Shelley. And Jason just nonchalantly walks back to the barn. He's like, well, wasn't that fun?
Was it, you, me, or the hammock?
I vote for me.
Hmm? I vote for the hammock.
Now, there is a bathroom in this house. Why were they still using the outhouse? I guess because you can't scare a character if they're in a bathroom.
Do you want a beer or not?
She can't. She's pregnant, remember? You can't even really, like, wash your hair in that shower head. You gotta, like, turn and kind of duck a little bit.
I can't hear you.
Ugh. That's the male version of Terrifier.
Andy, I changed my mind. I don't want that beer.
I think she's the only actor from this movie that I know has done something else. Because she wound up becoming a reporter, and she was really instrumental in the O.J. Simpson trial. You know you did not fully dry off.
Andy! God, I hate when you don't answer.
Well, he's dead. I have never seen a Godzilla film. I've heard they're really good, especially the newest one, but I haven't seen them.
Where's this coming from?
Yeah, double homicide.
You never scream when we have sex.
Give me something to scream about.
What's the matter?
Nothing. I was just practicing.
I like her.
Go down the cellar and check the fuse box.
In the dark. Alone.
Be a man, man.
She's using a colander. All that salt's just gonna go right back out of it. Ugh. Look, I hate shoes, but I'd be wearing shoes in there.
At least you got the outside lights working. Nice makeup job.
So this is why you don't cry wolf.
Man.
Because when you cry wolf, nobody believes you when something actually happens.
Get up! Shelley, enough is enough!
Shelley's dead!
I love how calm she's being. That was very little fight. That was no fight whatsoever. Aww. At least she got the bridal carry.
This wind sure came up.
Jason is a big fan of cleaning up after himself.
Oh, real smart. What's going on here?
Well, to be fair, when they started popping the popcorn, they were alive.
Andy, is that you?
Is everything all right?
Kick a leg up, Rick. I will say, though, that kill is probably the one that looks the worst, even if it's probably my favorite one. Just because the head that they used, because they were trying to do the 3D gimmick, it didn't come out that well. Oh, I like that shower curtain. The way it goes on both sides. That also very much implies that Jason unclothed his victims. I don't know about all that. But I mean, like I said, it's only in this movie that they make it seem like he's more of a predator than he is just a killer. It looks like it's turning into Evil Dead in here.
Rick! Help me!
Help is on the way, dear!
Mrs. Doubtfire!
Help is on the...
Rick!
Girl, you on your own now. Don't get me wrong, she had a few good ideas. Those books were a good idea. But I think it would have been better if the banister hadn't fully been there and then she could have toppled the whole bookcase on him. Because a couple of books, it wasn't going to knock him out. Girl, if you don't pull that knife out your friend and use it as a weapon. Especially with you making all that noise. She didn't feel it. You're fine. No. Slash with intention, Chris. There you go. Shouldn't have left it in there, though. God, his aim. Let go. See, if you knew there was nothing beneath you, as soon as you got out that window, you should have just let go. There you go, girl. Get up out of there. If you don't run him over, I'd have pulled a Trisha Jenner out of paused and backed up. No! Look at your gauges. Come on! Look at him limping.
Yes!
Most cars don't have reserve fuel tanks. Is that just in those kinds of vans? Now, if that had been right beside that, she could have grabbed that. Of course, if I'm trying to be in a hurry, I'm gonna grab the first thing that's there. See, if I was her, as soon as he got underneath me, I'd have jumped on him like Lady Gaga. Nah, now see, it's over now. He got a weapon. Now, you know dang well that hay is not gonna hold under him. This was smart. But you better tie that tight. Had a lot of room there, though. Or you gotta smack it. Punch it. Bop it. You can already see him moving through the slats. The way he's looking at her like, you gotta be freaking kidding me. Now, what was the point of bringing Ali back for the 2 seconds he was alive? To give Chris some agency to get the axe? Is that what it was? Now, if you don't pick up that machete and just start stabbing every vital organ in that body, I swear. Take all your rage, your anger, everything that you done felt this past year or two and just take it out on them. You done lost your man, you done lost your friends, your sanity, your home, your safety. Shoot, police would have rolled up and I'd have still been at it. Now, what is this gonna do? I wonder if she could have found some way to have gotten her car back onto that, because it was just the one wheel that went down. And I wonder, I've never had to drive a van, but I wonder, well, not one of those vans. I wonder if you give it enough gas, if it'll roll itself back up. Especially if the other 3 are on leveled ground. Oh yeah, she gonna need intensive care. Gonna be like, Jill at the end of the When a Stranger Calls remake. At this point, girl, you might as well just jump into the water and swim for it. Oh, does she have the thing coming out her cheek and everything? No, I'm good. I'm good. I'd have died right there.
What was all that about a lady in the lake?
She must have flipped out. That poor kid's been through hell.
Was she even in the lake? Chris, not Pamela. Because the canoe's still right there. Unless they pulled her out and then flipped the canoe over. The way he just shoved her in there. Intense care. Well, that was Friday the 13th, part 3. That is the 4th Friday the 13th film we've done, because I did start the series by doing the reboot from 2009. And we do have Camp Crystal Lake coming out later this year with Linda Cardinelli playing Pamela Voorhees, which I do plan to do. As for my ranking with this, I kind of think it's got to go last, which says a lot because I was not a huge fan of the first film. But in this one, there's just too much to ignore. Half of the things said were just names. You've got Chris running around yelling for Rick, not really saying much. Chili's whole thing when she's coming back down the stairs right before her death, where she's very calmly saying, "Oh my God, oh my God." And then even Debbie, before her death, when she's yelling for Andy, she's just, "Andy, Andy," and then when she's in the shower. It's almost like the script was written in a night, and they focused on it mostly because they just wanted to do something 3D for the series. A lot of films have done 3D. Some it's worked out for, some it hasn't. But I will say that it doesn't work out as much when you bring it home. It's really only a theater experience that can be enjoyed. Now, granted, that doesn't mean I hate this film. I like the setting. The setting is probably my favorite one so far of the ones that we've seen, just because I love that it is an isolated cabin and it is very beautiful. But the characters just don't bring it. I mean, yes, Jason gets his mask in this, and that is his iconic mask. We see him utilizing the machete more. But there are some stylistic choices that were made in the writing that just don't live up to the rest of the series. I mentioned it in the commentary, but Jason is meant to be a predator in this one, whereas in the others, he is just a deformed person who is hunting down people at the summer camp. And it changes from movie to movie. But this one, they make him out to be like he's going around and being predatory and essaying Chris, or potentially doing that. But it's never really not vague, but it's never really certain in either way. It's very vague, but they make it out to be that way. I do think that there is a part of the series where these first 3 films look at Jason more as a human character. We do see that he is put down by the axe in the head, but he didn't die from being hung, although that could have been from the fact that it was too loose. In the second one, he's running around tripping and falling and everything, and in the first one, they say he drowned, but did he actually drown? So those movies, I could see where he's being more human, whereas with the rest of the series, we very much see him getting resurrected, especially in 6. So that is something that I'm going to enjoy looking at in my rewatches. Next week, we are going to be looking at If Wishes Could Kill episodes 1 and 2, which is a K-drama that premiered on Netflix this year. I've already watched it and done my reaction to it, and I am very excited to get into the rest of the series. Also at the time of filming, but at the time of filming this, there is a poll up to pick the next movie that will be done, but at the time of this release, that will already have been picked, and I'll go ahead and put that up here as to what that is going to be. I kind of already think it's going to be Obsession, because that is just obliterating the poll right now, which is probably my most anticipated release of the year, so I'm really excited to get into that one. Also, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We are closer and closer and extremely close to 500 subscribers. And leave me a comment down below letting me know where this ranks in your Friday the 13th ranking. Also, go ahead and leave this video a like if you haven't already. Until next time, cinephiles. Bye!